Hello, my internet peeps. How are you today? This is Scott Rideshare, and welcome to my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I had something that happened this past Saturday night, I believe it was, and it wasn't really long enough to make a video out of. But I can kind of combine several of the similar things that have happened and make one video out of it. And here's what happened. Well, first, let me tell you that the first time something like this happened, I was still, brand new to rideshare, but I had caught enough hints from other people that to be careful of people getting into your car, that they may not be the right person. Now, I did do a video called She Just Got in the Car. If I do it right, I'll post a link down below, and you can link over to it, which I thought was kind of funny. I think it was on my old channel. It's hard to remember these days. But in either case, you have it on occasion where people get into the wrong car. And I'm going to tell you a couple of stories of where this happened. The first time it happened, I was going along A1A in the Fort Lauderdale Strip. I'm getting a call. I pull up, and I see two ladies standing there. I roll down the window, and I said, I'm just making up a name. Are you Maria? And she goes, yes, I'm Maria. And they both get in the car. And, I start the ride, and we start to drive away. And, there was a lot of traffic because it was busy. It was during the season, so it was during a busy time. And, again, I don't drive too late, so it couldn't have been that people were too drunk. But I do know there's music playing in the background when outside the bar when I went to pull them up. For a lot of people who have never been to Fort Lauderdale Beach and Sunset Strip, the Fort Lauderdale Strip, you have like a lot of open bars that face the ocean, and they play music. So coming out onto the sidewalk, it's quieter out on the sidewalk than it is inside the bars, but there's still a lot of noise around, a lot of background noise. So anyway, I went to the the lady gets in the car and we start to drive. We're driving away, the two ladies. And she says to me, did you cancel on me? And I said, no, I didn't cancel on you. And meanwhile, my app is saying that everything's fine. So I'm still driving. And all of a sudden, I get a cancellation. So I go, did you cancel on me? She goes, no. So I asked her again, are you Maria? I was asking for Maria before you got in. She goes, no, I'm not Maria. So obviously she must have heard me wrong. It was probably all the background noise. She thought I said her name. So we drive around the corner, and I said, go ahead and put in a request and see if I get it. I said, I don't think the algorithm will let us do it that way, but just go ahead and do it. So she tried it, and it turned out to be somebody else. So I just waited for her. She goes, I want you to take me. And I was like, yeah, I wish, but it doesn't really work that way. So I waited until the next Uber picked her up, and then I left. And the second time it happened, it was... there was this, I pull up again. It's not too far from the strip. It was on Las Olas, but it was like a block away from the beach. And I pull up, and again, I don't drive that late. So people who are drunk getting in my car have started drinking like earlier in the day, or they have a very low tolerance level. In either case, I pull up, and I get to this corner bar, and there's a lady, and she's like, and she gets in, and she goes, there's a guy right behind me, and he gets in, and it was actually his ride. And I asked her, is this for so-and-so? And she goes, yeah. And she gets in, and he, hops in behind her, and we start to take off. And all of a sudden, the phone rings for him. And he goes, he's like, no, everything's fine. I'm in the car now. Everything's fine. And he hangs up the phone. And he said, that was a guy asking me if I was going to get in the car with him. Where was I? Did I get in another car? And I said, wait a minute. Are you John? And he goes, no, I'm not. So anyway, my phone rings, and I pick it up. And it's the person I was supposed to be picking up, John. And I said, listen, let me turn right back around. I'm so sorry. I asked them their name and they gave me the wrong name. So let me, so I turned around. And when I went back to where it was, before I got there, my passenger canceled on me. And his driver didn't cancel on him. So we got out of my car and got into that person's car. And he was talking about, hey, come on, I want you. I don't want to go to this guy. I said, well, you could try to order another car again. I said, I don't know how well it's going to work because the algorithm is set up where, it won't happen that way. Then there was another time where I was driving and I get this call and I go to it and it's a funeral parlor. And as I'm pulling up, I see someone looking at their phone and they look up and they just kind of wave at me. So I'm assuming that they're tracking me on the phone. So I pull in and they all get in and we start to head out. And I'm like, are you going to Pompano Beach? By the way, I'm just making that up. And they're like, no, we're going to Deerfield Beach. And I'm going, wait a minute. It says here I'm supposed to be going to Pompano Beach. Are you David? And they're like, no, oh, no, we're not David. And as we're saying this, there's a bang on my window. And I turn and I look and I roll down the window and he goes, hi, I'm David. So I said, okay, I'm so sorry. And I had the guy, the other people get out. And I felt bad for them because they had just gone to visiting a grave. And I could tell they were not really in a very good mood, which is probably why they may not have been thinking correctly. And which is certainly understandable. And I should have been up my game a little bit, seeing where we were and realizing that, emotions may have been getting in the way. But in either case, it was kind of no harm, no foul. They got out of the car and they're going, so where's our driver? And they were looking at their phone. I'm assuming he had just pulled onto the property or he was on the property or really, really close where for the app it looked like they were on. In either case, I picked up this guy and his wife. We drove around to the back of the funeral home. I picked up, he said, my wife's still saying goodbye. I said, okay, no problem. So I went back there and he didn't really know the guy whose funeral he was at. He was kind of doing the right thing. So his mental state was a lot better than the other passengers I picked up. And, I took him to a private airport and they took a private plane back to, they were like in upstate Florida somewhere. Then I did have another time where it was like 5:30 in the morning and I get a call and I pull up and as I'm pulling up, I see somebody coming out of the apartment building from where I have to pick up at. And I said, hi, how are you? And they said, hi, how are you? I go, you going to the airport? And they go, yeah. So I grabbed the luggage and I threw it in the car. And the husband comes over to get in the car and the wife says, I'm just going to take the dog for a walk. So she's taking, her little dog for the walk. And while she's taking the dog for a walk, another lady walks out and she's got her suitcase. And she's like, what's going on here? So I asked the lady, are you Annie? Again, I'm making these names up. And she goes, no, I'm not. I said, oh, I'm so very sorry. I thought you were Annie. I said, what are the odds that the two people leaving the same building at the same time going to the airport? I said, what are the odds? It is very unusual. It may not be so unusual in some of the larger cities, but where we are, it's pretty unusual. So in either case, I took their luggage out and I put it back on the sidewalk, and then I put her luggage in and I apologized to her, and we drove off to the airport and everything was fine. So I think that's all the times where there's been a mix-up. And it happens even when you're checking with people to make sure you've got the right name. That's, there are still mix-ups. Sometimes people don't hear what you're saying. Sometimes you don't double-check. And then sometimes somebody else jumps in and says, oh, yeah, that's the right person, when in fact it's not. So here's what happened the other day. I pull up to this restaurant, right? I get this call. I pull up to this restaurant and I see a lady sitting down out front and another lady on the phone. They were older ladies. They were older than me. And they're not moving. So I'm assuming that they're waiting for their car because there was a valet service at this restaurant. And I start texting, hello, I'm here, which is what I normally do. I assumed the person I was supposed to pick up was in the restaurant still. And the lady on the phone walks up to the car door, and I rolled down the window and said, "Are you Dee Dee?" Not her real name. And she goes, "Yes," and she gets in, and her friend, and she calls her friend over, and her friend gets in next to me, and I go, "Are you Dee Dee?" Again, because I suspected the lady on the phone wasn't really listening to me or paying attention, because she was going, "Are you Uber?" And I said, "Yes." "Are you Dee Dee?" "I'm Scott." And they just get in, and the lady next to me, I said, "Are you Dee Dee?" She turns around to a friend, "Are you Dee Dee?" Which really made me suspicious. And she goes, "We're going to Pompano." And I didn't want to start the ride, because as soon as you start the ride, the other person starts getting charged for wait time. So what I did was, I saw that there was other people that walked out. So I did start the ride. And I said, "Oh, look, we're not going to the Pompano Beach Club. We're going to the yacht club. I'm here to pick up Dee Dee." And the lady in the back goes, "No, take us to Pompano." She goes, "I'm Dee Dee. Take us to Pompano. I'm not getting out." And I was like, "No, listen, I have to pick up these people here. They're waiting for me." And I threw the car in park. And I said, she goes, "I'm not getting out." I said, "Well, I'm not leaving. So we have a problem." And then the passengers walked over, the real lady. And there was 4 of them. And they come to the window, and I go, "Are you Dee Dee?" She goes, "Yes." I go, "Okay." I said, "See, you got to get out," because they're waiting for their ride. And then, they got out of the car. Meanwhile, the one that they were waiting for was directly behind me. So I don't know why she was acting the way she was. Other than that, I could smell the alcohol in their breath. The 2 of them were drunk. And these 2 couples get in the car, very nice people. And I explained to them what happened, and we kind of had a big laugh out of it. Anyway, stuff like that's fun. It can get bad. I think a lot of times you can turn it into something fun. A lot of the passengers that get in my car are generally pretty upbeat about things, and we kind of joke about it. So it's never really, it never really turns into anything bad. So tell me what you think. Please leave a comment down below. I don't know if there are any drivers out there watching. If there are, let me know about some of your stories that you've had. Also, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I'd love to get all that information up. I need to get it going. I need to get more likes. I need to get more subscribers. If it gets shared around, that's even better. Any comments, all of this helps the algorithm. Okay. Also down below, I have some descriptions of links if you want to become a driver, make some part-time money, or if you're just a passenger, you have no intention of being a driver, but you have one app and not the other, go ahead and download the other using the link down below. I always tell everyone to compare prices. That way, you get the best deal that's out there for you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Scott Rideshare. Have a great day.